Evening Cherries fans, and welcome to the latest opposition preview show here on Up the Cherries in all departments. Following two impressive victories against Bristol City 3-2 on Saturday, and also the game prior to that, the 3-0 win against Huddersfield, we travel to West Brom and the Hawthorns, a side who I predicted would win the league at the start of the season. Before I welcome on my special guest, here's a little bit about our sponsors, Dental on the Banks. To find out a little bit more about what they can do for you, visit dentalonthebanks.co.uk. Now, it is a pleasure to welcome on my special guest. He is a writer for West Brom on Over the Bar and has previously been on this show as well. It is a pleasure to welcome back Andy Caulton. Welcome back, Andy. How you doing, mate?
Well, I'm 60 in a few days, and so, the demise of the baggies has, created some strange effects in human beings like me. And so I've got back to the 70s when West Brom were good. And so I've got a 60th birthday party, 70s music, 70s style, platform heels, 3-inch heels, believe it or not. Bell bottoms, 70s music, disco all the way. So trying to be positive and a pretty sad time to be a Baggies fan. But great to be back.
Yes. No, it's a pleasure to have you back, and happy birthday. What day is the big day?
Friday, April 8th, yeah. I was born a week
Friday.
late.
Excellent. Good stuff, mate. So, you do quite a bit for Over the Bar as the West Brom correspondent. And I have read an article that you wrote recently as well, with regards to what difference 365 days do make. So on the 3rd of April last year, West Brom come from behind to beat Chelsea 5-2. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to keep West Brom in the Premier League, but it all looked very promising. I said at the start of the season, I said that both teams would fill the top two. And I thought that West Brom would win it. And the reason being is Valérien Ismaël, who did a fantastic job at Barnsley.
Yeah.
But what fell apart, because during that 2-2 draw at Dean Court, first game of the season, West Brom looked good.
Wow, how long's the podcast? It's sort of, it's not been pretty. We started like a train, 13 out of 15 points, 21 points out of 10 games. But since our form, we will be 19th now in the last 20 plus games. We started, say, with the much vaunted Valérien Ismaël high press. And the wheels came off the wagon. Teams sussed us out. Teams worked us out. We stopped scoring goals. It's been a very tough watch as a Baggies fan. Yeah, I mean, face it, when Bellerin was manager, we were still in the top 6. Now we're 12th and hurtling backwards. It's an amazing rate. Yeah, signs haven't paid off. Players have been sort of maybe exposed to be who they are. Championship mid-table players at best. I think we'll realise how good players like Pereira were last year, who made the average players look very, very good at times, like you say, during the Chelsea game last season. And we are where we are. If you invest in journeyman players, we obviously have not scored goals. Big risk getting DK in terms of willing. I think it will long-term pay off for us, or even short-term. But all the eggs in one basket, 7 million and a game and a half, hamstring gone. Won't see him again until next season. So you take your goal scorers out, goal scorer out. It's going to have an issue on a smaller squad. We've not really seen many young players step up. Taylor Gardner-Hickman has. Midfield with very, sort of lacking creativity. It's been a mess. It's been an absolute mess. And, we've shown signs we can do it. We beat Fulham, ironically, our last really good win. So that's a midweek game. Now I've got Cherries coming to their Hawthorns tomorrow. Maybe we're saving ourselves to play against good teams. But in all honesty, the atmosphere is pretty toxic at West Brom. We're the most patient of fans. And, we have to start well again on Wednesday. Otherwise, things will turn pretty quick.
Did the Baggies fans really think that Ishmael should have lost his job? And Steve Bruce, it was, to be honest, when I saw he took over at West Brom, I was surprised.
Yeah, I mean, Bruce has got a reputation of promotions, 4 promotions. That's what we're looking for. It's all a numbers game, money game. Bruce, as I say, his Newcastle dates weren't inspiring, but he was available. He wanted the job. He's on a big bonus to get promoted. I think without that, I'm not sure he would have been enticed to take the job on. He mentioned that, I want a bit of that, was his quote. It's not worked. We've won 3 out of 10. We've not scored in 6 of those games. He's scratching his head as well. We're such a mixed team. Some games can play well, some games we just disappear. We're not at the races. But the consistent view is Ishmael or Allardyce to some extent, certainly Bruce. Things go wrong, players get missing in action. And you can't carry players in a league like the Championship. You knuckle down, you do a Luton Town, you play beyond your means, beyond your reputations of the players in your squad, you scrap away and you get a result. We haven't seen that. The impact players aren't there either on the pitch or off the pitch or on the bench, let's say. And it's been a really tough watch. No one's surprised at West Brom, watching us week in, week out. It's a pattern of play that, Bournemouth went through a dip, and you guys have found a way out of that. Even though you're inconsistent, you win, you lose, you win, you lose. We are drawing or losing, not scoring, not dictating. So, in a poor division, Craig, you're second. You expected more in terms of performance, but it could well be enough to get you up. For us, the table doesn't lie, and we are really where we should be. Performance related.
And he's made some funny signings, to be honest. No more so than Andy Carroll. Andy Carroll was on loan at Reading. I don't think he played that many games for them. And West Brom, he played 10.
Yeah. For Reading, yeah, and he didn't shine against us. In all honesty, he's I want to say a folk hero, but he has more sort of credibility than many of the squads. He's perceived to be actually putting himself about and trying hard. I went to the Hawthorns Swansea game. Maybe it wasn't a good, like an eyewitness viewpoint of the player, but he's 34. He's certainly, let's say, he's seen better days. He's limited in terms of his movements. He can still go on the end of things. But, you know, it's limited, like on Saturday, you know, there's a great free header. Our best weapon was a long throw, which shows how far we've fallen, you know, as a club. Creativity is what we're about. A bit like you know, Bournemouth have always played good football. If that's our best weapon, a flat throw on a set piece for Carroll to get his head on, and he missed. Yeah, that's really where we are. He's not one of the targets of the fans, I've got to say. There's a lot of fans who believe, you know, we should have given 12 months to him. And the DK situation is what it is, you know, and not money not being particularly, you know, around the club. Maybe he'll be there next season. It's a funny signing, but the one, you know, many fans think is actually not one of the worst ones.
Of course, Ishmael did fantastically at Barnsley, and you would say that the West Brom team he inherited was so much better. It was a good side on paper, and we both, as you mentioned, took the championship by storm at the start of the season.
Yeah.
And okay, we carried on our run a little bit longer than West Brom did, but of course the wheels fell off at some point. Would you say that the teams just completely worked out Bournemouth, worked out how we played, as well as West Brom, and it was quite long ball, wasn't it? But it was effective. It worked.
Part of me, like, you know, not obviously never a neutral, but part of me finds it really refreshing. See Huddersfield and Luton making bids, and Forest are on the right road. You know, it's a long time since they've been in at the Championship. So yeah, you know, teams have improved and teams have regressed, and you've got to say, you know, we've regressed big time. 46 games with not a particularly athletic team, but a lot of, you know, like, you know, Livermore has been banned twice. And, you know, he's never going to be a player to take, you know, championship sort of central midfield. He's playing deeper now, but you need your better players. And, you know, he's no real sort of, you know, pattern in terms of, or at least, you know, what can I say? It's not going to work a 46 game season with a high press, with players who don't have the legs. And, you know, he showed it short term. Maybe Barnes will be younger, more energetic, hungrier. Certainly caught teams by surprise. But we haven't. You know, we didn't. And, you know, the press is... We saw it against Fulham, actually, to an extent. It's missing in action, like many of the players have been, in all honesty. Reputations were made, I believe, by better players around them. Think about last season, Conor Gallagher, where he is now. We had Yukozlo, who, you know, played the European Championships. Maitland-Niles is playing, I believe, in Spain or Italy now. You know, these are good players. These are players, you know, very hard to replace, and we haven't replaced them in any way, shape, or form. But, you know, it's reality of being in the Championship. We're not going to keep those sort of players when you're in a lower sort of, you know, standard of play. So it's multi-layered. We need a goal scorer. I think you know, look at Mitrovic at Fulham. One goal scorer can change everything. We're not a team who can chase games. We're a team that, you know, can certainly take the lead and certainly sort of, you know, control games to an extent. But not with the squad we've got. Not with the, you know, we're some of the goal scorers. We're not creating chances, and, you know, it is what it is.
Alex Mowat was phenomenal for Barnsley last season. He was the reason why they got so far up the table. Yeah. And West Brom signed him. Yeah. Partly because of Ishmael, I'm sure. Yeah. But what's happened to him? He's gone very, very quiet. I know he's had an injury as well, hasn't he?
He started well, no doubt about it. 2 or 3 really good early goals, you know, in the season. But you got to look at statistics. You know, we're playing with him as our almost most central creative outlet. He's played 30 games, created 1 goal. I mean, it's just, the stats are crazy. He takes all the set pieces, and so whether, you know, we're not working, you know, we can't work like we used to do with Pulis and spend, or maybe we should spend hours on the set pieces. But you watch us play, you know, in like mixed signals. You watch a team with height, but completely misreading, you know, either his call or his, you know, not hitting the ball to the areas of the field where we're looking to hurt teams. his confidence has certainly hit maybe an all-time low this season. Fans are on his back. I'm not one of them, but I did believe in him, I've got to say. Certainly the evidence early season would suggest that he had more about him, but it's certainly one of these lads that is disappointed. And maybe with a DK in the team as a better target, things will change. But 30 games and 1 assist is not what you're looking for with your biggest hope as a creative outlet.
What does Bruce need to do to actually turn this around? Because I can only imagine he's got so long. Of course, West Brom have had quite a few changes in the backroom staff as well.
Yeah.
And somebody who, if you do a little bit of research about him, wasn't very popular at Reading, Ron Gourlay, come on board as well. But what does Bruce need to do to actually turn this West Brom team around? Because they should be doing a lot better than what they are.
Wow. So obviously, with Bruce, it's to really crystallize it into a statement, it's tough. Has he got the players? Is it the formation? Is it the fact that, now a lot of West Brom fans are blaming the players, not the management. It's been too consistent. So many players over consecutive managers that have just underachieved or disappeared. So it's the egg and the chick. Who do you blame? What is it? Who's first? Who's second? It's a really tricky, sort of dichotomy to come up with. He's proven he can do it. Against Fulham, we look like a team, but what you're looking for is a run of games and a run of consistency. And what is scary is that Bruce himself shaking his head is confused by, the message maybe he's sending out is not being transported onto the field. A clear out is needed. The problem is the West Brom is that, a lot of his boys are on very good money for the Championship. Who's going to take them? We're going to have to pay some of this money for some of these players who are on long term to ease them out of the club. So Bruce has already said, look, I'm willing to stay, if you're willing to have me. Now, to say 8 points in 10 games suggests that, unless he gets his tactics right, or unless the players start reforming and, listening to advice, that's the only way it's going to happen. Where the goal is going to come from, I do think DK was, again, someone I believed in, was the missing piece in the jigsaw. That jigsaw puzzle is broken. So whether Bruce can come up with the magic formula, there's some young players in the squad who have fleetingly come in the team and not really sort of secure places. Dean Garner, big signing again and again. Managers can't find a place for him. It's almost like he comes on late on. He's got a limited role. Players like him need confidence, and then comes to achievements, and he's not achieving a lot at the moment. So I would say, personally, I'd go 4 at the back. I would rather than play wing backs and play like an old-fashioned 4-4-2 and try and find your way through, teams through that system, because what's working and what we're using at the moment isn't working. Evidence is clearly there.
Of course, as you did mention earlier on, Bruce has got a track record of getting teams out of this division. And to be fair, a lot of people say, "Oh, Bruce, he's not a good manager. He's this, he's that." He's shown that he is a good manager at this level. And it's confusing why West Brom have digressed so much under him. But, fingers crossed for next season, because I think the playoffs are probably beyond you now after that.
Yeah. I think, Craig, to be honest with you, that if you take away Ishmael's first 10 games, we're just flatlined. The form of Ishmael and the form of Bruce are pretty similar. Without those 10 games, that would be 19th. So, obviously we're doing okay. We've not had any major injuries, really. O'Shea got injured early in the season, but it's pretty much the existing squad. So, it's fairly baffling. The squad, as I say, that, was supplemented by that big signing. You look at the money, we're on this parachute payment, like you're in the second year of it. We have to get it right next year. It's almost now, just write the season off, blood some young players, just see, are they good enough? And then, next season sort of rebuild from there. It's going to take a visionary. It's going to take, we've got to make a decision early. We're either all in on Bruce or we're not. It's an 18-month contract. If it's not to be, again, you have also his backroom staff to sort out, and financially, it's never cheap. Just talk about Mowbray, from Blackburn, if they don't go up, making a return. A manager of West Brom values, of West Brom creativity, of West Brom, it's DNA. But it's got to be a decision made pretty quick. Bruce has really, I think, 2 or 3 games to make a bigger impression. And then we're going to make a big decision as a club.
Of course, you can spring a surprise. You did it against Fulham, who, of course, are running away with it now. Let's be fair. They are running away with it. Okay, we could win a game in hand and get a little bit closer to them. But could you do it to us?
Well, again, the evidence is the Fulham game, but the recent evidence, Birmingham was a big deal on Sunday. It was a shocker. I mean, your local rivals, a game we had to make a statement, a game we had to dictate, a game against a team, they're fighting, obviously they're proud, and, we had one header on goal, and that missed the goal, actually. We had one very weak shot, and that's all we had. And it takes a lot of West Brom fans to turn, and maybe they'll faithfully back in the the team tomorrow. But they've got us. If they start badly, heaven knows. I think Parker knows this. He's going to really, sort of attack early on, and it could get really ugly tomorrow. In all honesty. And for some fans, maybe that's what what's needed. That this clear out is needed at this stage, and just hanging on the odd performance is not good for us long term. I think that big decisions need to be made. So, can we do it? Possibly, but I would say very doubtful.
I think following our 2 recent results against Bristol City and also against Huddersfield, where we were fantastic away from home, you'd hope that it would be a third on the bounce. But then again, we had a run where we beat Derby, the side that we expected to be the toughest of the 3, and drew against Peterborough and drew against Reading, losing control first half against Reading, took off Cantwell, and then it just all fell apart in the second half. And to be honest, we were lucky not to lose that game. But I would hope we can keep this run going, and we've got to look at it this way ourselves, that I believe it's only 84 points that Huddersfield can get to. Luton can get to. Really, we only need, I think 80 should do it. Would you agree?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think that. I wonder what's been the playoffs. I think some dangerous teams there. Particularly Forest. I think Forest could turn anybody over. Momentum, everything. They're going to be tough to beat at City ground. But I think therein lies the difference. You mentioned the name Cantwell. He's a really good player. Excellent player. Yeah. He fits into your system. He fits into your DNA. He fits into what Bournemouth are all about. It's like a perfect match. So, that's where things go in your favour or against you. Say we needed that one player, that striker, and it's poker, championship poker. We all our chips into good old DK, and I saw him play, and I know how good he is. And you got Cantwell, and you see what happens when you take him out of the team. You take our better players out, it's not going to happen. I firmly believe, it's going to be Fulham are gone. And I firmly believe, that Parker will have, his old team and his new team playing in the Premiership next year. You've got a great squad. You've got to nourish your way over the line. And I would be aware of the championship, the playoffs. second place is vital for Bournemouth. I wouldn't mess around with third. So keep your gap. Start with a win on Wednesday against us if you can manage that. I think you will manage that and build from that.
Well, hopefully, fingers crossed. But all the very, very best for next season. I honestly did think you would be coming with us, and it's a shame because West Brom are a lovely club.
Yeah.
I'd much rather it be you than Fulham, but we.
Well, so we're a 20-year low. We've always been in the playoffs or in the Premier League. This is something we're not used to. But bigger West Brom have gone on these dips, these real falls in form, and it can be a long slog in the Championship. And next year, is absolutely massive for West Brom. So we've got to recruit well. I wish you luck. In the Premier League, and hopefully we'll get there and can do another one of these talks next year. Or the season after. With West Brom flying high, but no, I look forward to tomorrow. I always enjoy watching Bournemouth play, and as I say, it could get ugly. And I think the crowd will be, at least the numbers are going to be very informative of where West Brom are at the moment. There's a lot of feeling that this is not good, and I went to the lowest crowd at West Brom in about 20 years. Swansea game, I think there was around 11,000. And it could be less than that, actually, I think, on tomorrow.
Well, thank you again for joining me on this opposition preview, Andy. It's been an absolute pleasure. And yes, hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be welcoming you back on very, very soon.
Okay. Cheers, Craig. Good luck to you boys. And I look forward to the game tomorrow. All the best.
And thank you for joining me on this opposition preview show. Please do remember to hit the like, the subscribe and the bell button below to be alerted to any new videos we do here on the channel. Also, do remember to check out our most recent video, Cherry Aid for the Ukraine, which is an inspiring video of how a team of people went to the Ukraine to deliver aid from Bournemouth. And that stars Simon Cable, Gary, and of course BBC Solent's Willow. Do also check out our previous opposition shows. We did also have Michael Sprott, who represented Reading. Really interesting video about boxing. So if you're into boxing, definitely watch that. Do also remember to watch our interview shows. Of course, we had Steve Cook before he joined Nottingham Forest. We also had Steve Fletcher. We've got many more special guests as well coming up. I'll let you know once those are up. Also, we are going to start our own podcast, and this will be a regular video, and that I will be joined in those videos by Chris Rawlins, who is joining the Up the Cherries in All Departments team. So it'll be great to have Chris on board as well. Until the next video, Up the Cherries, and I'll speak to you then.